Okay, not many people get to see one of these. They weren't brought out here to Australia very much. You didn't see a lot of the CNA2002s. They were 2.5 kilowatt. They were the real thing. Now these tuners, they were something that was a little different in some respects, and you could do remote interfacing from behind, but they were primarily an auto tuner with still an operate button that you had on the front here. So basically, when you were using it, and I'm really just displaying this to show this works. Now I've got it on an antenna that should be fairly easy to tune. And what you're basically doing, I'm going to show you, actually let's throw it out of whack. So let's completely put out of whack. So at the moment, we know that it's not tuned. I just tuned it, but just doing a test, but I'm going to put about, how much watts into it? About, is that about 50 watts? Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. Sorry, no, it's not even that. Sorry, I'm putting in about 18 watts, sorry. So I hit operate. Look at that, bang. Now see, I'm looking for the dip. I get the dip. I've got my transmit still going in there. I'm just adjusting a little bit here, but the auto does the majority of it. So there is still a little bit of manual tuning on the CNA2002. See how I'm doing that there? Then bang. Just with the Powerstar, and the reason we pay $3,300 or so for a Powerstar is that if I take that off bypass for a moment and I go auto, now the Powerstar has hit transmit, and all right, that's already done, but let's put it on an antenna that it shouldn't tune. See how this sits there? Now it will actually find its own point like it's doing there. Okay, so that is the difference between, say, a Powerstar, and I'll just tune that antenna back again. People often ask me, what's the difference? Because the Diawa, why is the Diawa so much cheaper? Well, it is a different style of tuner. Now I'll go back to bypass here, and basically we'll do the same thing where I go on a transmit here, and I, VK3 Charlie Mike transmitting, sorry, just in case anyone's listening on FM here. I'm on FM on 40 meters. So when I do this, see how it wants to, so when we have a look here, look at that now, and then I can just touch it up ever so slightly to just bring it around a bit to about 1.2 there. Now I could probably get that closer. Yeah, I thought I'd see how I can just nab it in the auto. And this is where I've never actually hooked up the remote function on one of these. Now I'm bringing it up there, but generally you'll find the auto does 90%, like you've got 1.1 there. So I'll just take the transmit off for a second. So to give you an idea, that's how, well, that's the difference between a CNA 2002 versus, say, the Powerstar. So this is why a tuner like this sells for, under $1,000, and one like this sells for, $3,000, because they are a slightly different way they did things. But what can I tell you about the CNA 2002? Well, number one, it can handle 2.5 kilowatts. That's the biggie. That's the biggie, no question. It's got a lovely meter scale on it, so you can do there, etc. Generally, I do suggest that, I think the meter from memory goes up to 2,000 watts. So even though they say 2,500 watts PEP, the meter is obviously 2,000 watts just there. It's 1 kilowatt there, etc. on this rating. So when they say 1 kilowatt, they don't mean 1 kilowatt max. I don't know why they didn't write that as 2 kilowatt, because it really is 2 kilowatt, but that's okay. But obviously your 2 kilowatt scale is times 100, etc., etc. But this was a really good price tuner for what you got. And this is the thing, is that instead of sitting there knobs and dials and sitting there for a long time on an MFJ, which is going to cost you the same sort of money, Diawa came up with something that said, well, we'll get you 90% of the way there with no trouble at all, and we'll basically give you something that and people, actually I had a question from a mate of mine, Matt. He said, how much faster is the HF Auto, or look, was the Diawa considered slow? And see, the thing is, as I put a carrier there, the answer is oh sorry, hang on, what have I done there? I've done something stupid. Hang on, let me fix that. And the good reason for that was on the 2 kilowatt scale, and I'm not going to see 20 watts very easily. All right, so as you can see, It's equally as fast as the HF Auto, but you've got to manually say to yourself, bang, I'm at my lowest SWR point in the manual function that I'm using it as. Now, I've always used one this way, but I noticed before on the back there's a remote connection. Now, I'm not actually sure. I'll need to pull some paperwork out on that just to see what that remote connection does. It's only a 3-wire connection, so I'm thinking it's a stop-start for this. Now, that could well be a way of getting it to switch from your, say, 7850, instead of me hitting the transmit. Sorry, wrong. That I do hit the transmit, but it knows to activate. Sorry. So basically, I would be, if I was on remote, I'm guessing that I would be hitting my transmit button and not having to operate this button here, and then looking for my lowest SWR point to get myself on tune. But I need to check that, just exactly how that works, because so don't maybe take me 100% on that. But I can tell you that, as you can see, as I do this here, bingo, bang, look at that, 1-to-1, turn your transmit off, and it's got it. I can put it on other antennas. These things tune incredibly, tune things incredibly well. Don't let the size fool you. They're actually, obviously, the HF Auto is the everybody wants a HF Auto. That's the only tuner to buy if you're sort of just had a really good crypto win. Let's say that you're not a crypto king and you maybe didn't get an inheritance. This sort of tuner is something that can handle power, gives you good power SWR readings, and gives you good auto function, so that you're not sitting there mucking around for hours trying to go for each band, etc. Now, whilst it doesn't come with the memories as such that of course the HF Auto has, and the HF Auto stores a lot of information that can make it very fast, Diawa came up with something that I thought actually worked incredibly well. This is why I kept this for so long. I've had this for a long time. Well, I've had 2 or 3 of these, but this one was in the museum for many years, and I can tell you now, we've used it because we've just had quick antennas we wanted to throw up and just have a play with, and they've not stayed up. But this was our way to to basically be able to run some power through them, just doing a bit of a test out in the museum. So if you're considering the Diawa CNA2002 and you're on a bit of a budget, expect to pay under $1,000 for one of these things. So they're not terrible money for a 2.5 kilowatt PP automatic antenna tuner. They've got a beautiful cross needle. I mean, you're going to pay $200 or $300 for this meter, from Diawa anyway. So why not, get the tuner? Now, we've sold the CNW518s and the manual versions of these. They go anything up to about $500 anyway. So you're not really paying. I think we put this one out at $875. It's not huge money for an auto tuner that's going to sort of serve you well. And I thought, look, obviously we like to make videos to show people that items are working, but I thought this was a really good idea to show the difference between a HF Auto and a Diawa CN2002, and how you can save yourself. Literally, the last HF Auto we got through for a client was $3,400 from memory. So you're saving over a couple of grand here, loads more than a couple of grand, closer to 2.5 actually. So it's a cheaper way to put yourself into a automatic tuner that can handle some decent power. Don't be too worried about the power handling. I've seen inside these things, they'll handle it fine. All right, anyway, that just sort of gets us past the point of, does this tuner work, which we always like to sort of have a video before something goes out, if we can, of some of the larger items or the more intricate items that need explanation. Speaking of which, I've got to do one on a DX1D, don't I? Yeah, anyway, we'll get to that. We'll try and get that done in the next few days, but you know who you are. It's for the HMAS Vampire, that one. So we'll get that sorted. All right, guys, that's the CNA2002 Diawa tuner. If not this one and you get your hands on another one somewhere, I think you've grabbed a great little buy. Definitely if you can buy one under $1,000 Australian, I think you've got a great little unit for life. Cheers, 73s from VK3 Charlie Mike, Tangambulanga, North East Victoria. All the best.